Another Leafs defenseman goes down with what looks to be a very significant injury and could affect the Leafs long term this season. Did the Leafs get bullied in B-Town once again, like playoffs in the past? And William Nylander continues to have one of the best seasons seen by a Maple Leaf possibly ever. Welcome back to Leafs Digest, guys. My name is Darius Domingues, and before we get any further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 4,500 subs. So hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other content while you're at it. But let's get right into it. Let's not sugarcoat it, all right? It's been a problem for the Leafs all year to this point, but I did not see it as a problem tonight. It is starting on time. They finally look to have started on time today. And honestly, what that looks like to me is everyone's moving their feet. Everyone looks engaged. All four lines are rolling early on in the game. I mean, JT and Nylander, they've looked great all season, but they looked really good in this game to start. Their feet were moving, like I said. They were getting in on the forecheck. They were creating chances, getting shots on goal. Nylander looked amazing again tonight. I mean, we cannot say enough about him, but we talk so much about Nylander. I have not given enough love to my boy JT. All right, John Tavares. Everyone's called him washed. Everyone's called him old. He's losing this foot speed. He has been on fire this year as well. I mean, he is the afterthought of the top four, it seems, as if on the Leafs in recent memory in the last few years, just because he is getting older and his contract is coming to an end. But he's still a very effective player, especially on the boards, on the forecheck. He does the little things in front of the net that a lot of other guys don't do. So I have to sing his praises here. JT, he has started the year on fire, and I thought he started this game great as well. And I think, as the game went on, especially from the second period on, the top line as well. I mean, I've been criticizing Yarncroke, and I personally don't think he should be on that top line. I think Nice should get a try up there. But tonight, wow, it worked. Those three were going. I still would like to see a little bit out of Marner, but I thought he had a great game, much improved. We'll get into it later in the video. But yeah, Yarncroke, I thought he looked great tonight with the top two guys there with Matthews and Marner. I mean, absolutely fantastic. But to go back to Nylander and Tavares, I mean, Nylander, what a start to the season. He adds to the record that we thought was broken last game, but nope, he still has the record here, and he's made it 10 games to start a year with at least 1 point. Absolutely fantastic from William Nylander. I mean, we're witnessing history right now. We are very lucky, for as much as we all nitpick every single second of every game, and the LA game was terrible, don't get me wrong. Nylander's been great, and we're witnessing greatness right now, so that's awesome. But yeah, just, the Leafs were generating chances. It was nice to see them hanging around with Boston. Boston's the best team in the NHL. For my money, at least right now. And I mean, they're 9-0-1. That's a pretty decent start. Everyone thought they were going to fall off this year again after counting them out last year with the year they had. So, pretty good team. So they were right there with them. And can I say, I'm not sure if too many people will be with me on this, but I am a fan of the white jerseys at home, dark jerseys on the road. Love that the Leafs were wearing their dark blues in TD Garden. And I love those alternates from the Bruins as well. So that was kind of nice. A nice little surprise on the road to see the Leafs in blue. They're my favorite jerseys out of all the jerseys the Leafs wear, obviously, the dark blue jerseys. So that was nice to see as well. But something that happened late in the first period, let's get back to the game, late in the first period, that made me believe that we might have been watching the same old Leafs that we know from years and playoffs past. Okay, Liljegren, he gets taken into the boards by Brad Marchand. And it looked, at first glance, I was like, okay, it looks like an accident. But you see the replay. It was a can opener. He took him into the boards pretty dirty. If you watch the replay, Liljegren's ankle right into the boards, that doesn't look good. Forget the injury. Obviously, you're like, oh, God, he went down with injury now. Like, what's going to happen? Is he out long term? If you watch the replay, that could be a broken ankle. I don't know. It could be a sprained ankle, but he went in hard. His ankle was twisted. I thought it was a little bit of a dirty play from Brad Marchand. Obviously, he's in hard on the forecheck. You have to be prepared for that. But that is a tough play. I thought there should have been a penalty as well. But now Liljegren is out. That is tough news for the Leafs. I mean, as we take a look here, not on the bench to start the second period, and the Leafs have lost another defenseman to an injury mid-game in 3 of their 4 or 3 of their past 4 games. Not great. And the Leafs PR did announce as well that Liljegren would not return to tonight's game and that it's a lower body injury. I'm assuming it's his ankle. Not good news for the Leafs at all, losing another defenseman. This happened to them last year, and they had a really good November despite that. I thought like a lot of the young guys that they called up had really good games, but they're going to have to look at bringing guys up again. It's going to happen, and it sucks. But one thing that really, caught me off guard, or I guess didn't catch me off guard because it's possibly the same old Leafs we were watching, there was no response to that. And, there might be some people who think, possibly that wasn't too dirty by Brad Marchand. Maybe if you're in the game, you don't think that, but, Leafs of old, like the Darcy Tuckers and stuff like that, they would be all over Brad Marchand. Like I would have liked to see Reeves maybe not jump the bench, but the next shift, be put out against them and do something about it. Say something to him, get fired up. Even Bertuzzi was laughing on the bench, and like he said earlier, he's full of bleep. But you got to get involved. We saw it against Montreal a few playoffs ago. Matthews is laughing, and they punked you. They won in 7. They won in the end. Okay, they're punking the Leafs. The Leafs cannot allow themselves to get punked. I mean, you acquire these guys. Like we were talking about, Bertuzzi adds grit. Domi adds grit. Domi didn't do much again tonight. It's a little concerning. Reeves, he did not fight. He didn't really go after anyone. There was really no noise. The Leafs did fight back, and we'll get into that. But there was no noise being made, and I don't like that. It seems like the Leafs of old, and I don't think that's a very good thing at all to see the Leafs of old, because we've seen the movie over and over and over again. But let's get to some positives of the game. Some things I do want to cover. Marner needed to play a really good game in my eyes, okay? Because you're playing against the Bruins, one of the top teams in the NHL. Marner is known for not showing up in big moments. We've talked about it. Everyone's talked about it into, extinction. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Please show up in big moments. And he does. He gets the Leafs on the board. It was a nice goal. Great play from Matthews as well. Marner gets the goal. Then shortly after, they string a couple really good shifts together. It was really nice to see. Matthews gets on the board. Absolute rocket of a shot from Yarncroke. Great pass. Great shot. I mean, to shoot it with that much velocity at that height, top corner, to beat a goalie as good as Jeremy Swayman from that area, that is an elite player, ladies and gentlemen. Austin Matthews, probably the best Maple Leaf of all time. Absolutely amazing talent. But one interesting stat I saw about Matthews and Marner scoring in games together, going back to last season, was the Maple Leafs went 12-0-1 last season when Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner scored in the same game. Now, we all know how this one ended up, so unfortunately not adding to that total in a positive way, but I thought that was a pretty interesting stat, and they scored both in this game. And it's nice to see Marner pull the shot out again. Last year we saw, whoa, this guy has a shot. I'd like to see him shoot the puck a little bit more. A lot of guys expect him to pass. I would like to see him shoot a little bit more. We know he can score. So, we need to see a little bit more out of Marner in the goal category. I think it'd be nice. That would be really, really nice to see that. But yeah, the Leafs, like I said, they kept the pressure on, which is a great sign. Usually the other teams start to push back and the Leafs kind of go into a shell after they score. They kept pushing. They kept their foot on the gas till the end of the period, and that was really nice. One thing I wanted to touch on as well is in the third period, and I've noticed this last game, Bertuzzi was benched in the third period last game, and then in this game, I saw him taking a shift with the fourth line. I think, there's been some chatter, some rumors. Bertuzzi might be injured, and the reason he's still playing is because of the cap situation, right? And he's kind of forced to play, or they're going to play a man down. I think he's hurt, and I'm not sure he should be playing high in the lineup if he is hurt, because he's not going to, be able to contribute anything with the big guys. So maybe take a couple shifts with the third line, fourth line, rejig the lines. Maybe Nye should get a spot up top. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. But if Bertuzzi is hurt, they have to figure out something for him. Either he needs to sit to rest and heal, or he needs to, I don't know what the answer is if he is hurt. He looks like he's probably hurt because he's not playing to his full potential at all. So I thought that was very interesting. And it was nice to see Klingberg kind of get involved, because I've given him, in my past videos, a lot of bleep for, not getting involved physically, not being good on the defensive side of the puck. They took him off the first power play unit, which is what he was brought in to do, really. But he was getting involved, and he was pushing Marchand around. I like that. He was throwing some, or at least trying to throw some big hits. I like to see that. Get yourself, if you can't score and you're not getting anything going offensively, get yourself involved in the game. Otherwise, throw a big hit. Shove a guy around. get your blood boiling, get into the game. I like to see that. So that check mark for me for Klingberg on this game, because you know what, he tried to get involved, and I think that's great. They need more of that. Like Giordano, he shut down pretty much everyone he was playing against. I thought he had a great game. He's been great all year too. Some positives to see there. Pasternak didn't have much all night except for the overtime. I thought that was a really positive sign for the Leafs as well. But yeah, obviously it didn't end so great with the overtime and the shootout. But one thing that was a huge positive in this game is Ilya Samsonov's confidence seems to have returned, which is a great sign if you are a Leafs fan, okay? Joseph Woll going, that's great, but you want both goalies going, and we know what Samsonov can do, and his confidence has not been there all year. He looked great tonight, okay? He just had a great game. He made some great saves, and he really held the fort in overtime, all right? I mean, like, let's take a look at these stats here. The shootout was required in the game. Riley hit a post in OT. That would have been nice if they won. Samsonov made 5 saves in the overtime period. That is huge, including an entire 2-minute kill for a penalty that Nylander took. Samsonov coming up big when they need him. We need more out of it, out of Samsonov in that regard. He did it tonight. That's fantastic. He needs to do it on a regular basis. But it's nice to see the stepping stones. Let's get his confidence back. He's using his old mask from last year. Goalies are weird like that. We've seen it and heard about it time and time again. Goalies are a little bit weird like that. He's like, oh, I'm trying this new mask. This is not it. My confidence not there. Goes back to the old equipment, has a great game. I don't know. I don't think there's a science to it. Goalies are weird. But yeah, great to see Samsonov doing that. But the last thing I will mention, okay, is the Leafs. Do they need to act tougher? Do they need to play bigger? All right, let me know in the comments what you think about that. I didn't like the no response for the Liljegren thing. I think if you watch a team like Tampa, if something even so minuscule happens to one of their players, all 5 guys on the ice are on you. They are punching you. They are shoving you around. They are letting you know that is not, A, not welcome, and B, it's not going to fly. Like, it's not going to fly with us. You gotta cut that out right now, okay? I don't see that out of the Leafs, and I think it was a great opportunity to establish that tonight. Yes, they came back and tied the game to get a point in overtime, but there are some question marks and concerns for me in terms of that. You got Reeves and these guys for that reason, and I still think there is a glaring question mark. I want to see how it progresses as the season goes, but I thought there could have been a little bit more pushback against the Bruins tonight to earn that point, to earn that extra point. That's what good teams do. That's what separates the great teams from the good teams, and I hope the Leafs can get to be a great team and really have that pushback. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. My name is Darius Domingues. This has been Leafs Digest. I thought it was a great game from the Leafs. A lot of positives, but click the screen to check out some of our other content, and we will see you in the next video.